I'm always on. All right, guys. So I have a couple of observations with your rough drafts, your peer editing, and your regular editing. So major problem with most of your rough drafts. Okay, we know the printer in here is not working, but really, guys, you need to. You have to go? Okay.
I'll be back.
All right. Anyway, the printer in here is not working, and that led to some inconvenience. Fine. However, there's no reason on earth why I should have to guess whose work I'm currently printing out. Every single document you write in this class, everything you do, name, date, class you're writing it for. Okay?
Yeah.
I can count about half a dozen people who didn't put that on their document. I guess they just didn't think it was important enough, or that I would just somehow give up and not try to figure out who it was. But yeah, name, date, class. It's the whole basis of your writing. You need to be able to identify it quickly and accurately. I can even show you next class or some other point of how to make a template for writing class so that it's already down there. You don't even need to think about it. This is why technology is awesome. But seriously, it should be reflex by this point in the academy. Okay? So don't let me ever see you fall into that easy trap of not knowing who it is, why you're writing it, or what day it is. Okay? We all clear? What are the 3 things I want to see on every document? No exceptions.
Name, date, and class.
I had that on my in my system,
Awesome.
but not on the sheet.
Right.
Printed out, because I didn't expect that this would happen. But anyway.
It's cool. All right. Wow. You guys were listening after all. Excellent. Wow. Feeling strangely uplifted. Okay. As for self-editing, in all fairness to you guys, you did pretty well considering that I haven't shown you any editing tricks aside from the basics of avoiding sentence fragments and identifying run-on sentences. I guess I should probably do a unit on phonetics and spelling. I'm seeing a lot of misspellings based on, who here knows what phonetics are? Crickets, really?
Sort of. Well, it's how words sound with
Right.
vowels.
Yeah, so for example, if you wanted to write out Los Angeles, but you weren't sure how to spell it, so you write out Los Angles, it looks right. It has an A, a G, and an L, and an E. Right, yeah, great. Sure, it'll go. It passes spell check. Nothing possibly could be wrong. No, you got to watch out for that stuff. This is why reading out loud, but Angles and Angeles sound pretty similar. You can just sort of skim over. And if you say Los Angeles, most people, figure, and if you say it fast enough, they know what you're talking about. But it looks bad. It makes you look unprofessional, and it makes your mind look sloppy. And if you submitted that on a resume that you worked for 3 years in Los Angeles, dude, that thing would be put in the shredder so fast it'll make your head spin. Okay? This is about having pride in your written appearance, as it were. Your words are your emissaries. They're the people you send in front of you. All right? So really, just watch the phonetics. Lastly, and I would say the biggest thing I perhaps failed to make this clear, is that when you're working with someone and you're giving them feedback, you're actually working with someone and giving them feedback. That is, you're thick as thieves. Anyone here ever hear that expression? Okay, what does it mean?
Oh, it means you're as thick as thieves. Usually means you're kind of. Maybe I'm thinking of it wrong, but thick as thieves means you're both in it together, but you're not criticizing each other from
Right.
the standpoint of.
Right. Yeah, you're in it together. You're
appreciating
talking.
each other.
Yeah, you're in it together. You're shoulder to shoulder, working on the same idea, or collaborating.
Oh, okay.
And that's what this peer editing was meant to encourage. I feel that I may have set it up incorrectly as, and now you're going to tear this other person's thing to shreds. No. You're supposed to offer them ways to improve their writing, and notice and give them a little bit of praise for when a phrase is effective or the sentence was done correctly. Back to my main point, you should be thick as thieves with your peer review partner. That is like, if a good example is Salima and Ruby were, fortunately next to each other and working, together. I heard them talking about their word choice, tenses, plurals, all that sort of thing, and actually exchanging feedback as to whether their edits would work or not. It's a collaborative process, guys. You can't just grab the paper and retreat back to where you're comfortable, make some marks, and return it, because you have to explain the marks later. Okay? There's a reason why editing is one of the most time-consuming processes, because actually editing the work itself doesn't take long, but explaining your editing marks does take a long time. So if you're, close to your partner and explaining your marks as you make them, it cuts the time in half. It's great. It's wonderful, and it encourages a sense of camaraderie, which is a valuable thing to have in a writing class, which is all about thinking. Vincent, I'm glad you're back. We were just talking about the role of camaraderie and proper speaking and exchanging of information when peer reviewing. You and Miss Eileen were even superfluous in your dialogue, I would say. What else did I have?
Hold up, you said superfluous.
You talked a bit much.
Over the top.
Yep. That's my polite way of saying you talk a lot.
Yeah.
Not always on point
Hey,
either.
look, I had to give a check about that.
I don't.
Indeed. Smart man.
I didn't think that we would be doing this because normally I would be directions in
Indeed.
red
However,
marker, but I don't have one with me there at home.
it's cool.
Or a red pen or something.
Don't worry about it. I'll actually be handing out green pens next class specifically for editing. People tend to go berserk when they see red markings on their writing. It's a long story. Anyway, this is not meant as a criticism to you guys. I was not very clear. I wanted to see what you do with the pure editing idea. However, the next time, next class, the class after that, whatever, did I say?
Well, I don't mean to cut you off, but it just maybe for me having low acuity and looking at something like this, when I would see something in a different color, I wouldn't know to zoom in on that. So
Right.
makes it easier to see where
Great.
corrections.
We're actually going to speak about that. The good news, guys, is that when I assign you peer editing partners, I'm going to give you instructions before you actually get to work. Like say you're working with Charles or Tim or someone else with visual problems or someone else like I can't read between spaces well. So I'll say, okay, you want to make that extra large font and send it to Charles as well. Or if someone is space blind, you want to cut down the spaces between words. Know your audience. Know who you're writing for. Print out a copy with extra large font if you're working with someone with visual problems. You get me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. God, it's so rare to get a moment of silence like this in school. I'm enjoying it. All right, so with the exception of a few people, you all have your peer edited work back, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What you're going to do for the rest of the class is you are going to grab your edited work. Okay, so everyone's grabbed it, right?
It's right here.
Good, good. Now you're going to give it to me. I'm going to give it to someone at random, and they're going to mark it up.
And they're gonna,
That's sufficient.
It's
I'll put
very
you on.
sufficient.
okay, so I have
What
to
you
send
gonna
it to
give
you
out
again.
the booklet?
Sufficient. What?
The little, what the
Binders?
thing you have done.
I'll give you one in a minute.
Yeah, I need one too.
Okay, I'll pass them out to the rest of the class. They'll be with your work. But before you hand it in, you have one last chance to add name, date, class. If I see an untitled one, my hair will fly off and circle around the room.
Can you get by the date?
What?
Can you get past the date?
The date is 28.
28.
What? 28, yeah.
28.
What's up, Michael? Writing.
I got my right.
It's okay, just write it in.
Down the bottom. I'm not gonna do my-
128.
You can shut off the recording device.
Right.